Thank you for joining us wherever you are. This podcast episode is brought to you by the Old Ways Actual Play team. This actual play uses the Trinity Continuum rules by Onyx Path Publishing. This actual play is performed by adults and in an adult setting. While we try hard to stick to language for all ages, listeners should know that this podcast may include mature themes and various hijinks. All content, including names, places, events, companies, and etc., which may bear resemblance to entities living or dead, is strictly coincidental. And now, on with the show. Thank you for joining us again on another episode of the Old Ways Podcast. I am normally your keeper or handler, Michael Diamond. I'm going to be passing this game off for our Trinity Aeon finale. So James, take it away.
I will. Thank you, Mike. We are coming back to the third episode of Aeon, and at the table with me, currently, are the talents of...
Hi, this is Miranda, and I'm playing Captain Eva Howard, captain of our ship. And I don't like this. I was hoping someone would give me a piggyback ride so I could not have to walk on the ground.
I understand. In fact, I think as captain, you have piggyback prerogative. You can pretty much, isn't that like part of the code of the sea? You can force one of your crew members to give you a piggyback ride whenever.
Prima piggyback.
And next to Miranda at the table.
This is Morgan. I play Dr. Karina Oakenwick. And I'm the only one that got the biosuit. So see ya, bitches.
Have biosuit will travel is the code of a man, or in this case, code of a doctor. Next to Morgan at the table.
This is Jake. I'm playing Navigator Atticus White, and I think there's room for two in that suit.
Is there?
Just saying.
They are usually pretty loose, but I'm more intrigued to see you guys do any kind of movement and or running in with two of you in the suit. No, not that I'm going to stop you. I mean, you know.
Left leg, right leg, left leg, right leg.
And last at the table, but not least at the table.
Yeah, hi, this is Mike. And I guess I'm starting to wonder how many crew members we can stuff into that suit. Because I'll be damned if the doctor's going to get away clean.
It's the Cerebus model suit, so conveniently you can have 3 heads, 3 people, but oh my god, the dex rolls that you guys would have to make. And of course, you'll be piggybacking the captain the whole way, so. With that being said, our brave and intrepid crew find themselves just inside of the gate of a large carnival kind of atmosphere, or fair, if you will, inside of a monstrous cavern inside of an asteroid floating out in the fringe. I'm certain that when they woke up today, this was exactly where they thought they would be. The fairgoers walk around you, the captain uneasily lifting her feet off of the ground now that she has sensed that there's something moving under it. Perhaps controlling these people or giving them feedback or coursing through them. She got very hand flappy for a moment, and the words were not exactly joined together as well as they could have been. Captain, do you reiterate in a more concise manner what you think is going on, or are you literally just looking for a place to step up off of the ground so you're not standing on it?
I disagree with your interpretation of events and of my clarity, James.
I remember it to be fairly Shatnery.
Yeah. No, I will reiterate. I saw something in the whatever was in that guy, I think is in the ground here, and it's coming, like when people walk, it's coming up through the floor. It's like moving with them. It's fucking gross. There's tunnels all over. This place is honeycombed. There's something here, and I don't like it.
Says the captain, as the rest of you are also looking at this hastily assembled looking series of buildings. And by buildings, they're not full-size. Most of these are not full-size buildings. A lot of these look like they were assembled out of old machinery parts or shipping containers, cargo containers that are still quite often used. So to call this a carnival is to do it a real service. This looks like it was cobbled together, as you're looking at it, by people who were forced to build this and by things that they found on hand.
No, this is just like Barnum and Bailey in the old days, right? Forced workers, shady conditions, infected people. No, I'm kidding.
Mm-hmm. Scared people from nearby who no longer want to be among the lights and tents, or in this case, shipping containers and strung lights.
All right. Well, if there is an aberrant here, we need to find them. So I am going to begin, because we're definitely at a different distance now, a totally new mind scan, because I'm looking for aberrations.
You're looking for a quantum signature. So you now know, with your limited interaction with quantum signatures, is that you're not looking for the light, you're looking for the absence of light.
Yes.
You're looking for hollow space.
All right. That is 2 successes.
All right. You really have to push your mind out there. It's not that there's a lot of interference, although now that you are inside the gates and you are closer to this center point here, the scan definitely has the effect of you're trying to hear for someone specific in a room full of people yelling. Once you know what you're listening for, you can hear it, but there's a lot of din just coming from your surroundings. You're assuming that this is what Atticus was talking about when he said this was a corrupted zone. Eventually you do hear that oddly quiet, so to speak, spot, or that empty void where you don't hear any thoughts or any energies. And it's off towards the center of this facility in that large spherical shape.
I point to it.
Mm-hmm.
So in the center.
That way.
That makes sense.
Let's go.
Captain.
Off you head, weaving amongst these buildings. The people around you are walking along the promenades and the thoroughfares of this. It looks like it's set up to display things, but the buildings that are setting up are not filled with displays. They look like repurposed houses, hovels for these people who are wearing these crafted clothing. The clothing consists of what looks like pants and a suit top for the men, and for the women, it looks as though the mode of dress is a dress much like the one that was seen up above. You also notice that it seems to be weirdly, strictly binary here. There seem to be just men and just women. And that to you seems alien and kind of wrong.
Yeah, that is strange.
There's not a city in the systems that's like that.
Yeah, this is like some sort of weird, old-timey story. Probably a bunch of backwards thinking.
You step out from these, amongst these buildings into one of the grand thoroughfares. It seems a larger, roundabout walking area where many of the people seem to be, you guess, promenading, walking for health. They're walking arm in arm. They don't seem to have a purpose. Almost like they're just moving to be moving. One of the couples stops and looks at the four of you. The gentleman regards the four of you, looks you up and down very obviously. Howdy, folks.
Howdy.
Welcome. Enjoying the fair?
Boy, are we.
How could you not? It's a gorgeous day. His eyes seem empty. His smile definitely seems to be painted on.
What brings you out here today, sir?
Oh, well, we've got some special guests that arrived not horribly long ago, and everyone had to come out and see the special guests and the Ascension.
Oh, where is that happen? Did that already happen, or?
No, not. When he says it, his right eye twitches a little bit.
It hasn't already happened, or is that? We'd be interested in meeting the guests.
Oh, well, I could take you right to him if you'd like. Him and his partner start to walk off towards the large metal sphere. As they turn and you can see their back, the clothing and where their arms are meeting it looks like they were heated up spontaneously and then cooled off and they melted together like wax.
Yeah, that ain't right.
Yeah, I don't like the sound of that.
You notice as you look around there are actually a couple other of the couples that have paused momentarily and are looking your way.
So, James, just a question for clarity. Are they all couples, like man and woman?
Yes, there are no single entities out here, like, walking around.
I'll stay sharp.
I definitely don't think we should split up now.
No.
All right. So you begin walking behind this couple. You get about halfway towards this large metal sphere. And as you enter into what you can only describe as like an inner ring around the sphere, or some maybe a courtyard around this metal sphere, you see that the houses have become more fancy, are covered with decorations, more decorations that you don't quite understand. And you have begun to see cloth flags of old Earth, various nations of old Earth, strung up. What you come upon as you enter this courtyard, however, what disturbs you is that many of these people are now, it looks like, just standing as opposed to walking arm in arm. And it doesn't take a moment or two, but to notice that it looks like their feet and their legs have somewhat fused to the ground. It looks like the boundary between foot and ground has stopped being as well defined as it should be.
Are they like models?
They still, like, they're talking to each other, or like their mouths are moving and such, like they're making conversation, like many of them are. Although you don't, as you get closer, they stop talking and they look at you. Hello, we greet you. You've come on a fantastic day. That's right, Ascension Day.
Can you tell me what Ascension Day is?
Oh, absolutely. It's when... And the gentleman pauses for a moment, and the woman chucks him in the arm a little bit playfully. Oh, he gets nervous around folks. It's when the controller gets to ascend. He becomes something else, and the whole world will be remade in his image. Not just this one, all of them.
I raise an eyebrow. Boy, that sounds like a very busy day.
It would probably take longer than a day. Building everything took longer than a day, didn't it?
I don't know. I suppose that depends on what story you believe.
She reaches out as if to pat you on the shoulder. Oh, you.
I do my best not to let her touch me.
Make me a Dex survival. Yeah, let's go Dex survival. Yeah.
All right. Dexterity survival. I have 2 successes on dexterity survival.
You just managed to turn in such a way as that you don't make it obvious that you're just, jumping out of the way. But you see that her hand has many of the same kind of little holes that the gentleman had on his neck and the sides of his head upstairs. Her arm and hand has those many kind of holes. And as her hand brushes out towards you, you see that there's like a wet, silvery flash around the edges of these little holes. That's what catches your eye, that glint. That same glint that came out of that guy earlier in the ticket booth.
Ooh, thanks for the information. I take a step back.
Not a problem at all. The gentleman smiles and extends a hand as if he wants to shake your hand.
I salute him.
Put her there, pal. Atticus, behind you, you see one of the other couples has stopped, and what the guy has his hand pointed out towards you. Put her there, pal.
Absolutely not.
Behind you, Captain, and near you, Doc, you also hear a voice, because you two are kind of together. You hear a voice. Hey, put her there, pal. And another one behind it. Put her there, pal.
More of a waiver.
Yeah, no.
You see that all of the couples have stopped, and the gentlemen are now aggressively offering you their hands like a handshake. And you can see that silvery color extending from each one. The couple in front of you that was leading you has also stopped. And they seem to be now eyeing you. Grin has not stopped, but they don't seem like they're leading you as much now as luring.
Yeah. All right, it's our time to exit stage left here, pal.
Yeah, let's go.
I'm going to weave my way through as to not get boxed in by these people. And then I'll eye the doctor slightly and just say, "Hey, you're covered and perfectly sealed in that suit, doctor. Why don't you shake a bunch of hands to alleviate the concern?"
How about not? I mean, we don't know if that'll go through this biohazard suit.
Oh no, but I figured it would be fun to try.
No.
I mean, you do have the suit on.
No, I do. No. Bye. Bye, everybody. We have some place to be. And I start jogging towards the people that are like guiding
Yeah,
us.
see you to the Ascension.
Got things to do.
I need each of you to make me a Dex Athletics roll, please, as you weave and bob through these people with hands outstretched. What originally was a friendly gesture, but now seems to be a bit more intense and or threatening.
I have 3.
0.
4.
I'm not above utilizing blink or long jump as necessary.
You do have the ability uniquely among the group as, we'll say it like this. The other 3, you quickly and fairly easily weave, dodge the hands that stretch out that do also occasionally, if you get close enough, seem to waver out towards you some, as if to shake or touch you. You stop in an archway free of people and look back, and the captain has been pretty well surrounded by folks with arms outstretched. There doesn't seem to be an area that she could walk through that wouldn't avail her being swatted, poked, or smacked. Cap, are you going to utilize one of your abilities?
If that's what it takes for me to not get touched, then absolutely I will.
With a 0 in the Dex Athletics, you, yes, that it will be your only option. I will rule in your favor momentarily and say that no one managed to touch you. You've managed to back yourself up because you do have a sense of spatial awareness like no one else. But
And blink specifically states it's for defensive and to for incoming attacks.
yep, it's a reflexive. So that is literally you shimmered and moved back about 6 inches. You felt your instinctual teleport abilities kept you out of danger again. Yay, thank you. The whoomp that she makes when she teleports is actually what draws your attention back to the fact that the captain has not moved as far as the captain could have.
Did she get away?
So I believe for your, you can teleport out. Yes? You do have the ability to hop short distances?
Yeah, so I have blink, and then I also have long jump and window. But long jump is only for where I have a Nodic connection.
Yeah, that's how you got your ship here.
Yeah. So I don't think that necessarily works. And then window, I want to say, is similar. Small wormholes. Oh, okay. Of limited range. System. So I create a portal large enough to move a hand or arm or any object up to medium size through.
Okay.
And they have to be within my field of vision and medium range. So I could window myself farther away.
Go ahead and give me the roll of psi plus, I believe, that mode. It's like 1 or 2 dots.
Yeah. Now, I've not been rolling well this evening. I'm just saying.
All you're doing is
it.
teleporting your mass from one place to another. You should be fine.
2 successes.
2 successes, yep. You haven't done a window of this size before, so it will actually cost you an extra psi point to do it.
Mm-hmm.
As you're used to doing windows the size of your hand. You forgot something at home, so you reach back through and grab it off your dresser. This is an emergency. You know that. So you are pushing the envelope a little more than you're used to. You're burning a little more energy through you than you're used to. And you open a window. The 3 of you see the captain put her hand into space itself and then tear it open like damp tissue paper, and there's a ripping sound, like unlike what you can describe, behind you. And the captain steps out, a little damp from sweat effort and a little pale, as that took a little more out of you than you anticipated.
Now, James, so then I've used 3 psi this game.
Yes.
So then I am at 0 psi. Do they regenerate?
They do. You get, I believe, 2 back an hour. So
Okay.
You guys can actually regain, as of the beginning of this game, you can regain 2 psi from what you have spent. The captain steps out of a rent in space and next to you.
Ah,
Whoa, okay.
sorry.
No, let's keep going.
Those things freak me out.
So what's ahead of us, James?
The ones that can still walk are turning slowly towards you, behind you, and the ones that cannot are planted but are turning. Ahead of you it looks like a series of tents that are arranged out of canvas and tarp. Looks like they probably used to cover mining equipment and such. Ahead of you is the white metal sphere. It looms ahead of you. It is, like I said, several hundred feet tall. Around it is a ring of people that look like the people whose legs have fused to the ground, facing outward. Their eyes are silver. There's no color. There's just that swimming silver color. You're not close enough for them to see you, you don't think. And you don't see any of the other people milling about. In fact, you see the closer you get to the sphere, the less people you see more milling about, and the more you see that have been cemented to the floor, it looks like.
Looks like as closer we get here, there's more of these drones. The ones that don't move.
Hey, James, I'm going to bring alertness back up, but I'm going to put a psi point in it to make it indefinite.
So you have constant alertness going on?
Yeah.
You have a definite sense of a racing sense of dread that quickens your pulse when you think on it too hard, emanating from that sphere. Like you're standing at the edge of a chasm, looking down into an inky darkness.
Yeah, that sphere is definitely the source of this.
All right. I'll take a moment and take a deep breath and put up my mind shield again. I'll invest a point of psi into it and try to do my best to protect myself against what I am about to see or be forced to see. That's 2 successes, an 8 and a 9.
All right. So you open up your mind's eye to other minds. Are you scanning the people? Are you looking at the sphere? You envision the intricate mental sphere around yourself with all of the fine filigree that you've added to it so that you know it's yours. You build it in your mind. It flies together, becomes a firm psychic entity around you. You can feel your equilibrium be somewhat restored by its very presence.
I'll say, protect yourself, people. There's definite mental suggestions going on here.
I need everyone to make me a resolve survival roll, please, as you are standing and looking at this sphere.
You got a 2?
Wonderful.
Got a 1?
No, okay. Like you rolled a 1 or you got 1 success?
No, I got 1 success.
Okay. Excellent.
Yep, I got 1 success as well.
All right. And how about you, Captain?
2 successes.
2 successes. All right. So, Doctor and Captain. So the two of you, because you're standing next to each other just more instinctively during this creepy encounter, you happen to notice that both of the men are subtly humming, and they're humming that tune. Not very loud, and it's only just a note or two, but you catch them both doing it over the course of just a few minutes. You can feel that song drilling into the back of your head too, like someone tapping you on the temple over and over. Even if they're tapping you very, very gently, it still becomes unbearable after a short time as you're noticing them humming and such. Gents, you notice that the captain and the doc are looking at you both. You catch them both looking at you at one point or another, as I said, over the course of a minute or two. Neither of you realize you're doing it until you realize they're looking at you for it.
What?
Snap out of it.
Yeah, you guys are both humming that stupid song.
What song? What are you talking about? No, I wasn't.
You were.
I shake my head.
As you're shaking your head and trying to clear the cobwebs that seem to be forming a little bit in your head out somewhat, out of a doorway in the side of the sphere and down a curved ramp steps a gentleman in a gray suit. He's about 7 feet tall, proportionately built as if he were a normal person, just happens to be 7 feet tall. The suit is tailored to him and moves in an odd way as he moves. His skin is a light blue color and has a sheen to it that's definitely not natural. He's looking at you and smiling almost congenially as he walks down the ramp and gesturing as if friends had just arrived at his chateau on vacation that he had been expecting.
Captain.
I regard him really, really carefully.
What? I think you should go talk to that guy.
I don't want to go talk to that guy. But you're right, I am the captain. And as the leader of this group, I should take charge. You're right.
Do it.
Okay. Okay. I take a deep breath and I walk towards the. Hello, sir.
He comes around the curved end of the banister, large grin on his almost silvery light blue, almost amphibian-like skin. His eyes, as now that he's closer, are all black, that almost polished marble black, as he regards you. Large, congenial smile.
Welcome, friends. Welcome. I had hoped that someone was going to arrive to see this, someone important. And it looks like I was right. Look at you all.
He looks each of you up and down in a paternal way, like he hasn't seen you in forever.
I won't disagree that we are important. That is a fact. What are we seeing here, though?
Oh, this?
He gestures all around you
Mm-hmm.
to the buildings and the people and the sphere.
This is a play.
Yeah, that tracks.
This is a stage. Come inside. Please, I trust you. Trust me, I don't mean you any harm.
I do not believe you.
Given your position, I wouldn't believe me either.
Mm-hmm.
Still, you should come inside.
What's inside?
It's my collection.
He's looking each of you up and down as if you were a show dog, almost.
Any of you from Earth? God, I miss Earth.
He folds his fingers behind his head as he's walking up the ramp.
I miss Earth. Oh,
I feel like that is almost apparent by your homage to Earth that you have built here. An old Earth.
At the top, he turns around and puts both hands on the rail and looks down at the four of you.
you would not believe how much some of this cost. This baby.
He pats the side of the metal sphere.
Well, this here is all original.
Mm-hmm.
I had to collect this piece by piece by piece. Well, I mean, okay, so it's like 80% original.
He grins back at you like you're sharing a joke.
Yeah.
The smile he gives you is like being smiled at by a shark
Yeah.
as he steps inside.
Hey guys, so this guy wants us to follow him.
The three are standing there looking as well, yeah.
So I just thought I'd bring it back to the team for like maybe a vote, Democratic.
No.
Nope.
How are we getting out of here?
How are we getting paid?
Okay.
So now that you're by the sphere, I need all of you to make me we'll go with a survival cunning roll. You are actively looking for how to get out of here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Just one.
3 successes.
I have 2.
2 successes.
All right. We'll start at the lowest and work our way up. With 1 success, Hendrix, you see not a way out, but you do see that a lot of the ways out of this courtyard area are quickly being filled by people in suits. Like they're gathering around this sphere, but also like they're making blockades.
We're getting hemmed in here. They're making a body of fences.
It feels a little bit like that. Those of you with 2 successes, you see that there are cables running into the bottom of this sphere, obviously to give it power. The cables seem to be going off between 2 buildings. The area between the buildings has not been filled with people because it looks to be too thin to get one person across. So you might be able to squeeze through there. Captain, you're looking big picture. That's your job. You look out across the houses and past the sphere on the other side of the asteroid wall, one of the support columns has, it looks like one of the safety elevators going up, an emergency elevator for equipment malfunction, biohazards, atmosphere leak. This is how the miners would be expected to get back up to the main facility.
Oh, hey, do you guys see that safety elevator over there?
Elevator?
Yep. I pointed out. Right over there. Our ticket is right over there, safety elevator.
What's between us and the elevator?
Several blocks of buildings and about 30 people in suits and the sphere itself.
Well, hell.
All right, Captain, you're the one with the teleporting powers. Can you get all of us?
No, I can't. I'm pretty tuckered out after that last one, that I did, so...
James, I'm going to go ahead and try to use my least resistance power to give me the path of least resistance to that elevator.
Good call.
Okay. The path of least resistance to the elevator. Go ahead and go ahead and make the roll. Doc, what are you doing?
I think we should just mosey on over there, like, as nonchalantly as possible to get the hell out of Dodge.
I got 3 successes.
3 successes. All right. Your vision doesn't exactly narrow, but the colors and the crispness and the brightness along a certain pathway seems to sparkle a little more than everything around it. It seems to be more vibrant. You can definitely tell that that's the best way to do it. It gives you a specific path, and it does seem to be that the start of the path is between the 2 buildings where those cables were going.
All right. We need to go through those buildings there to start with.
Okay.
Well, let's move out then, team.
So the 4 of you are heading off towards this crack between these 2 buildings here where these cables are going. You get about to the area between them, and who's going through first?
I'll go through first since I'm the one leading the path.
Okay.
I want to slip into this crack.
Make me a quick Dex athletics roll, everyone, to see should you get through without hanging up or any complications.
So I'm not really a combat character, James. I'd like to know if there's a second option.
Other than Dex athletics?
Mm-hmm. I'd like to spend a psi point if I can, and I would like to use command and tell someone to move.
Interesting. All right. You spend a psi point and you look at the person nearest to one of the larger openings there that you could walk through without a problem, and you tell them to move. You reach out with your psi, and your voice echoes, almost pre-echoes a little bit as it's charged with your psi ability. You say, move. The couple's bodies move backwards. They begin to step backwards and out of the way, almost like a horse would do. It doesn't seem like they move like people would just move out of the way. Behind their eyes, you see little flashes of light, much like you saw from the gentleman in the lab earlier. And you hear a pained voice from inside the sphere.
What the hell was that?
Oh, shit. I have a flash in my head of a very old man saying to a very younger man, take the pebble from my hand, and then I will try to move past, knowing that I have disturbed the waters.
You certainly have. That yell echoes from inside the sphere as you move past them. Atticus, you got through the crack already, I assume?
Yes. Yeah, you had 4 successes.
Okay, easy. You slide through without a problem. Captain and Morgan. No, Captain and Doc. Which way are you headed?
Well, I have 0 successes, just so you know.
And I have 1.
We'll be kind and say Doc slides through first. And there's a moment where you get a little hung up. You get one of the straps on your doctor's bag and such gets caught up. And then, Captain, you move to slide through this crack, and your sidearm belt actually gets caught on one of the handles, and you get momentarily stuck.
No.
You are not permanently hung up, obviously, but you can definitely, you see Hendrix go over and tell the couple to move out of the way, and he slips through the other area there, and it closes. The people move back to where they were, almost like a door closing, and you hear that pained roar of come from out of the sphere. And since you're the last one in the area, you see that the man in the suit runs to the doorway of the sphere and sees just you now, because you're the only one visible, and points at you.
I didn't say you could leave.
Well,
As he starts to stomp down the ramp around the curve of the sphere, he will then turn and head towards you, you assume.
I can understand your confusion. It's inappropriate to leave a party early, but I just remembered that we had a prior engagement that we have to get to, and that's where we are going right now.
Make me a dex survival to get yourself unhooked from what you're hung up on, to unlash your belt.
No successes.
Okay, so you do not manage to get yourself unhung as he's walking down the end of this plank. He's now about halfway to you.
Mm-hmm.
Atticus, Doc, and Hendrix, are you going to meet up around the other end of the tankard? Are they one of the other end of these buildings, or are you looking back at what's going on back there?
I'm looking back. Do I see him coming?
Oh, you can hear it. Yes. And now that you look back, you can see it. He's not quiet when he stomps down this ramp. As you look back, and Captain, you see this as well. Everyone who looks back sees this. His eyes are now glowing with energy. You assume it is kind of a quantum energy. And there are small silver glints dropping off of his skin that when they hit the ground, they squirm a little and move for a little bit. So you're fairly certain that whatever's in these people is coming out of him or came out of him.
Can I go back and help Captain get unstuck?
You sure can. You sure can. I will say that with both of you, you managed to unhang up the captain off of the handle. It was your gun belt that was hung up. He gets about, you would say, 10, 15 feet away from you as you finally manage to unstick yourself and slide between these two buildings away from him. As you get to the other end, he's reaching between the buildings. He's far too large to get through and is like reaching towards you. You think there's, at least there's no way he can get through. And he puts another arm in and braces an arm against each side of these two building cargo containers and slides them apart.
Can I use misfire on him?
And for our listeners at home, what does this misfire do?
It has the ability to scramble the victim's nerve and confuse and debilitate them.
Okay. And what's the range on that?
It doesn't have a range on there. It just says this roll to use this power has a difficulty equal to the target's stamina.
So I need you to roll. Okay, so is the difficulty equal to the target's stamina?
Yes, and in this case, as an aberrant, it's likely stamina and mega stamina.
Yes. So the target your difficulty is 9. And go ahead and give me a psi roll.
Sweet.
Just
I'm
9
never
on the
going to
dice.
make it.
It's just 9 on the dice, though. You just need to, you need at least to start and get a material success. You might not want one, but you know.
Oh, that is 0 successes. 0.
You could spend a psi to give yourself an enhancement success, an automatic, essentially. You're forcing it by channeling power through you.
Yeah, but what am I mean, what's that going to do for me with a guy with 9 stamina?
Well, it would at least give you 1 success, so the effect would go off.
Okay. Right. So you spend a psi every time you use your psi, right? So I used misfire, so I spent one of my psis.
Yep.
Correct. Okay. And then I'd have to spend another psi to get a success.
Yep.
Just breaking it down. Okay, that would put me at 0 psi, and I don't want to do that. Just in case somebody needs to be healed.
Right.
Breaking it down for our listeners at home.
Okay. No, that's a very well thought out option. You go to use it, and the resistance of his form immediately nullifies the amount of power you put into it. You've not felt anything like it. It would be like using a stun gun on a sperm whale.
It's a very interesting analogy. I turn around and I just start booking it, towards Atticus and Lucian. Yeah, nope.
As it is slowly pushing the 2 cargo container buildings aside, and you guys are running. Hendrix, on your side, one of the cargo containers you walked between starts getting closer to you.
That's not good.
And the couple that was almost acting as the gateway or the door that you passed is also between them. And as it comes towards you, it is also squashing them.
Oh, like it doesn't care.
Nope. I need a dex survival roll from you, please.
Okay. Hey, that's not bad. That's 3.
All right. At what you feel to be just the last second, managed to roll out from between them as he gives a last grunt of effort, and the sliding picks up on a large amount of speed. And this cargo container slams into another cargo container. You roll away from one of the most horrific sounds that you can imagine coming from behind you, wet, crunching sound, as these 2 behind you are just reduced to a paste. The effect is immediate, as it seems to cause a painful feedback loop to him on the other side. He roars with this animalistic bellow of pain, and the other cargo container that he was holding flips a bit up into the air, and up on just the end of it lands up on it as if he had table flipped it in rage.
We need to leave right now.
Yeah.
Go.
You begin booking it, the 4 of you
now
who can see each other because the cargo container that was between you is missing now. And you begin running to and fro, weaving between these people, what you can loosely describe as people at this point, and the confusing rat's maze of machinery, hastily built buildings.
So I'm continuing to lead the way since I have the path.
Mm-hmm. And you are following Atticus. Since Atticus's ability leads you with the path of least resistance, you arrive in short order at the base of this safety ladder. It looks like there is a safety door on it and some sort of lock mechanism or barring mechanism that you will need to figure out a way to open.
Ooh, who just happens to have a bunch of cunning and larceny? That's me. This guy.
Finally, what I hired you for.
Well, No. Are you done molesting the massive aberrant back there? Can we leave? This is a really good roll. This will be the best roll of the night, bro. Okay, so I have 7.
Good Lord. All right. You walk up to the mechanical lock on this thing. You look at it. Oh, it's a Belkson 300. You know these. You actually sold a bad shipment of these to a guy on purpose at one point. You know that they all have a security flaw on this panel right here. After about 30 seconds of jimmying with one of the side wires, and the security mechanical lock opens and the door swings open. He barely jostles it or looks at it.
Alakablam. And then gesture through the door.
As he gestures to the open door, you see a shipping container hurl by you. Behind you, you see a small crowd has gathered, and they seem to be mumbling something or mouthing something. You're not close enough to hear what it is, but it sounds almost, there's almost a pleading tone to it.
You hear that?
Yeah. And I don't want to anymore.
It's super weird.
Start climbing.
And you guys begin climbing?
No, fuck yeah.
What order are you going up the ladder in for the several 100-foot ladder climb?
I will absolutely go first.
I assumed you were going first.
All right, Hendrix is like, I'm going first. I pop the lock.
Well, I just figured the doctor in the suit is going to take a little bit longer.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't really have to beat everybody, just the doctor.
As you should.
Right.
Yeah, I take off the biohazard suit as we're going to go up the ladder.
You are not certain that you're going to have time. If you are going to take off the biohazard suit,
no.
I'm going to need a successful Dex athletics roll.
Okay.
James, I'm going to try to use hindrance on this guy just to make his life a little harder. Yeah.
Okay.
Basically, every success I give, I can spend to make the difficulty for his rolls one higher.
Fantastic.
That's 4 successes. So let me know when he's going to try to do something terrible.
Okay, I will let you know when he is going to do something terrible. It should be any moment now, but you can hear him charging towards you like an out-of-control siege engine. Things smashing. You occasionally will see a body fly through the air past you or a chunk of debris. Whatever it's doing, whatever he's doing, he is tearing his way towards you like a rhino. What's your roll there, Doc?
That would be 0 successes.
0 successes to get out of the suit on time. Okay. The 3 of you are climbing up the ladder and you look back down and Doc has that foot caught in the pants when you're trying to, and the shoe didn't come off all the way. And she's doing that hopping thing with one hand on the ladder, but she's not climbing the ladder. And that sound below is getting awful close.
I just one more foot. Of course I would die right here. Of course.
Your foot comes out of the boot. Jake, the next time he's doing something strenuous is right now, as I assume when you guys came inside the little tube to go up the ladder, you closed the security door.
Yeah.
He grabs the security door and you hear the frame and the hinges begin to squeal and groan.
Okay, I'm gonna raise his difficulty to 10.
Okay,
whatever that takes.
Okay, Doc, you hear this better than anyone because it's happening not feet from you. He also seems bigger now. He's much taller than the doorway now.
How can he possibly grow any more? I gotta get up this ladder.
The groaning of metal stops as he seems to be struggling with tearing the security door out. It was built to withstand explosions and such, so you're thinking that between your power making it more difficult and the door's natural structural integrity, it's going to hold him off for a moment or two. Doc, you are now finally free of the suit. It's laying crumpled at your feet, and you are climbing up as quickly as you can.
Oh, I am. Is that another Dex athletics roll? 'Cause...
I won't make you do that because...
Okay, thanks.
So you begin climbing. The other 3 of you have probably not paused in your climbing?
Not in any way, shape, or form.
Okay. So there's a substantial gap between the doctor and the rest of the crew. And you can see them. I mean, they're not little specks or anything, but you can definitely see the large gap as you are climbing as frantically as you can, Doctor. The horrendous sound of the door being ripped off of its hinges finally, and metal screaming and scraping as the thing that used to be a guy in a suit below, coursing animal of muscle and blue silver scale looking lumps and a roughly amphibian face as it looks up at you and
I will eat you.
as it grabs for the ladder and begins trying to squeeze its way up this tube. You have never been so motivated in your entire life to climb a ladder faster, Doctor.
Oh, I'm going. I pop a stimulant and I go.
Oh, you pop a stim. Awesome. Okay. So yeah, real quick stim to the neck, and you begin frantically climbing up the ladder. Doc's closing the gap, but since all four of you are now in a horrific panic as this thing is squeezing itself up the tube, I need one last Dex Athletics roll to make sure everybody's climbing well and there are no botches. I know climbing a ladder is easy. Climbing a ladder in blind panic is not as easy.
I was hoping if I didn't talk, I just wouldn't have to roll any dice anymore tonight.
Yeah, I have no problems.
Oh, thank God. Okay. Now 1 success.
I have 3.
I have 7.
All right.
Holy moly.
Damn.
Yeah, there's a few 10s in there.
So Atticus is literally like skipping rungs. He's more doing the Ghostbusters dog hop up the ladder. How many successes for Hendrix?
Just 3.
Just 3. All right. He has picked up the pace some. Captain, you have 1.
Mm-hmm.
So, and in your attempt to hurry, you look down and see your cousin who is quite a bit further down the ladder and much closer to this creature, and your foot slips off the rung that you were climbing up and you bang shit out of your shin. The pain that shoots up your leg is immediate, and anyone who's ever done that on a ladder knows exactly what I'm talking about. If you can limp while climbing a ladder, you are forced to, as you are now, you can't put as much weight on that leg as you climb. And you are continuously looking down to make sure that your cousin has not been devoured or torn apart by whatever this aberrant creature is. Doc, it's like having a lion beneath you. A lion that is clearly telling you that it wants to eat you, not just roaring and making noise, but describing in detail how it wants to eat you.
Oh my God, this thing needs to shut up. I gotta.
Well, after several hundred feet of ladder climbing for the rest of you, and Doc, how many successes, by the way, Doc? I forget.
I got 1 success.
Okay. With a moment of panic, you slide off the side of one of the rungs due to somebody above having left sweat on it, perhaps, and your foot slips down and you end up hanging by your arms briefly, and you feel its fingertips brush your foot, the bottom of your foot, and it gives you a renewed and terrifying sense of purpose as you begin to frantically climb faster. The thing you're pretty sure that is saving you right now is the tube that's around the ladder that's keeping it a safety tube. Hendrix on top, disregarding the frantic sounds of climbing and screams below you, you reach a hatch and turn the wheel on the underside and force it open. It is a pressure style hatch.
Okay.
You open the hatch and you are sticking your head up between, it's soggy smelling. There's a moisture smell and there's the overwhelming smell of compost and vegetation wherever you're at.
I keep going. I keep pushing through the slimy and the nasty smelling stuff, because even if this is literally like the back end of the waste collection of the station, it is imminently better than being ripped apart by an aberrant.
Well, as you push up through it and you orient yourself to your surroundings briefly to make sure that honestly you're not being threatened by something, that's what your main thought is, you realize that you're in some sort of a greenhouse, and you figure in short order you're probably standing in like the midden heap of the agroponics waste disposal area.
Okay.
A lot of the food scraps and stuff would come through here, yes.
My plan is to clear the hole and then stand nearby the hole and reach my hand down in to pull people out of the hole.
Okay. Takes just a bit. First you pull Atticus, hoists up out without a problem. And then after a moment or two, because of her moment on the ladder, you pull the captain's shaking hand up off of the ladder and out of the hole. And then the three of you look down in the hole and see the Doc desperately scrambling up the ladder, as now the three of you can look down and see this blue monstrosity, veins bulging out all over it as it's struggling to wedge itself up through this tube, looking for all intents and purposes like it's going to eat Doc. At the last second, Doc's hand comes up through the tube and you pull her up through. I assume you slam the hatch shut?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And you give it a twist close. You look around the aquaponics and reorient yourselves as to where you're at briefly. The four of you do what as you can hear a pounding sound on the bottom of this?
I gotta believe we're running.
So Hendrix doesn't stop. He just breaks camp directly out of aquaponics.
Oh, absolutely.
All right.
Not fucking stopping.
Captain on his heels. Doc, you are finding yourself, I don't want to say shaky, but definitely a little shaky because of the feeling of those fingers behind you on your foot, that sensation of it grabbing you and holding on. You knew you'll feel that for probably the rest of your life as you run out into the main ring of the facility of Ouroboros Station. Towards the docking bay, I assume?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
Okay. You run up to the docking bay, hit the doors whisk open, and you see in the cargo bay at the far end, you see your airlock door, the woman in the dress standing, her head tilted oddly to the side. Going somewhere, sweethearts?
Yeah, we're getting the fuck out of here.
Oh, did you not enjoy the fair?
I don't think we even stopped to talk to this lady.
No, as you're running by her, you can hear her saying that as you're entering the airlock. She turns towards and reaches a hand out towards you. You can see the tendrils of those silver bits.
I'm going to shoot her with my sonic gun.
You're going to shoot her with the sonic gun, just
Blow. As we're running by, I just blow.
you shoot her center mass with the sonic gun,
It's non-lethal.
but her form crumples inward, and you can see that those silver filaments begin leaking out of eyes, nose, mouth. She never loses the smile, even as her body begins to crumple and the fluids begin to come out. From somewhere inside the facility, you hear... You close the airlock door, I assume, Atticus, as being the last?
Yeah, I'll be the last. I'll take it.
You close the airlock door and hit the pressurized button and can hear the ship repressurizing. Captain, you are heading towards the comms, the helm, or the clean pantsatorium.
Well, okay, so when we first set up our characters, I said I was the pilot, but then I'm not the pilot, right?
You can pilot a little, but you know that Atticus is better at it than you are.
Yeah.
Like a captain should be able to do every part of the ship a little bit.
Yeah, no. I'll just go to, is there a big captain's chair in the center
There is a repurposed recliner.
that I can sit in and say, okay, guys, get us the fuck out of here?
All right, so each take your positions. Captain sits down in the chair. Each of you shakily begin pushing buttons. That just the sense of familiarity of pushing those buttons makes you much, much happier, or at least much more secure as you begin the liftoff sequence. You can feel the metal clamps unclamp from the ship after just a moment or two, and the thrusters begin to push you away from the surface of Ouroboros Station. You look out below and you see a figure breach the airlock door and grab a chunk of the asteroid, and you hear a resounding as it bounces off the side of your ship a moment later.
Can we shoot at the docking bay? Can somebody shoot at that?
Do we have guns?
I don't know if we have weapons on this ship.
Well, you know what? I will leave it up to the captain. Captain, did you buy a non-lethal ship?
Oh, absolutely not. In this space day and age,
Then you do, in fact, have guns on the ship.
In this economy?
yes.
Guns in this economy?
I can't
You crazy.
imagine a ship without guns, James.
As captain, you arm the weapons, and Atticus, you are relinquished control of the weapons.
Oh, yeah. I'm flying.
You fly and fire the weapons.
No weapons, but okay.
All right, so you take off, and Captain, you authorize the use of weaponry.
I will fire them because everyone else is busy doing their jobs, so I will do this one.
There is a cascade of light and particles as the weapons engage the gas cloud that is currently escaping the facility and ignite the gases inside the facility. It seems like a chain reaction happens fairly quickly as you're flying away, and the facility itself is blown to very small pieces that begin drifting away from the asteroid. There's not much fire, but there's never much fire in space.
I fist pump. Woo! Let's do that again.
What?
And as you fly away, all of you looking at each other, thinking about the amusing jokes of dying in the cold vacuum of space as you were doing earlier, you think you perhaps earned the money that Upea is going to pay you. And now it's time to go collect.
Damn right.
Thank you for joining me tonight and for the not just Aeon, but the Trinity Continuum trilogy that I ran. I deeply enjoyed it. There will most likely be still a surprise or two here and there coming from Trinity and the Old Ways podcast. So keep your ears and your eyes open. I would like to thank my players. First of all, players, thank you so much. You guys were amazing. I thoroughly enjoy games with you guys. I would like to thank the backers. Without you, this is not possible. And I would like to thank all of our listening ears. Thank you and good night.